This is Yvette Walker, the host of Doing Good in the Community with a Lot of Good. Each installment of this video series introduces you to an organization or an individual making an impact in the communities that surround all of us as they help the less fortunate and try to make the world a better place. A Lot of Good is a 501c3 nonprofit based in Upland, California, with a mission to assist families dealing with a health or family crisis with access to basic essentials that, because of their circumstance, are unaffordable. To do that, A Lot of Good partners with ministries and nonprofit organizations to help them do what they do better by providing families they serve free clothing and other essential needs from the large A Lot of Good thrift store located in Upland. The thrift store is open to the public, and profits as well as merchandise from the store are distributed to our partners throughout Southern California. There are hospital partners such as Loma Linda University Medical Center and Children's Hospital, Kaiser Permanente in Fontana and Baldwin Park, and San Antonio Regional Hospital, and many more. There are outreach partners dealing with serious illness, abuse, homelessness, to name a few. These organizations receive assistance of clothing and other items to help fill the needs of specific projects of their organization. And of course, there are the community partners located in and around the city of Upland that receive monthly assistance, special requests, and financial donations. We invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Instagram to stay up to date with all of the happenings at A Lot of Good, and to meet the people and organizations that are making an impact in our community. Recently, I had the pleasure of interviewing an organization based right here in Upland. Through partnerships of Life Bible Fellowship Church and Catholic Charities, an organization called Upland Community Resource Center was created and is making a huge impact in the lives of people struggling financially through this pandemic. Here is the interview, and please remember to add any comments below.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Yvette Walker, doing a lot of good in the community with a lot of good. Today, I'm so happy to introduce Mr. Troy Spilman. He is the local global serving pastor for Life Bible Fellowship Church. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Let me ask you, can you just tell us a little bit about what your role is at Life Bible Fellowship Church?
Yeah, so I've been there the last 4 years. My role particularly is to motivate people serving at our church and our local community and then around the world. So really is how can we really come alongside either organizations or churches or people and really help them do what they do best.
Can you talk a little bit about the target population that you serve within our communities?
With our community resource center, so we actually call it our Upland Community Resource Center, we're looking to help those that are in need. That could be those that are face some kind of disruptive event, and that could be maybe a death, that could be abuse, that could be a divorce, it could be a long list of things. Right. But it puts people in a situation where financially they're not able to make all the ends meet, could be some kind of turbulence, that we come in and able to match up community resources based right here with their need. And so that's really what we do.
Unfortunately, these events, as you mentioned, are not always planned.
Right.
So having an emergency resource that way that is so integrated into the community is absolutely critical. Can you share with us a little bit about the genesis from where your effort stemmed from?
Yes, this has been a work in progress for many years. Even before I came on staff with Life Bible Fellowship, about 4 years ago. This is something I think for the last 8 years, our lead pastor, Gary Keith, and also with the director of the West End for Catholic Charities, which is Leif Ozier. They've been in touch and talking about this, and when I came on staff, we continued to talk about it and even looked at different locations. Nothing seemed to be right, either in location or the right time. So it just felt like this year, it all really came together in a beautiful way. Right. And so he has lots of experience with Leif Ozier as far as helping families right into this community. He oversees a location in San Bernardino and also in Ontario. And so this would be a third location that he helps oversee. So he comes with some staff already ready to go. And so we're able to come alongside with support and with volunteers to help make this happen.
Oh, that's wonderful. We know timing is everything, and the fact that everything is coming together so seamlessly at a time when it's most needed, I think is a testament to the fact that you're going to have the support moving forward to be able to hopefully hit those benchmarks for the community and be a significant resource moving forward. How do you know that this is the right place and the right time?
Yeah, it's been quite the adventure. You know, I love that we're able to be located right downtown. Our resource center is 100 North Euclid. It's like, can't get any more center than that. Right on Euclid, right across from the Christian school.
Right.
And we found that the word has really spread just organically. And so we have continually people calling or coming in.
Can you share with us, you know, just for a picture of the families that you serve, what does that look like?
Okay, right now, we are actually seeing about 30 to 40 families a day. But now the pace has actually increased, we really believe, because of COVID.
And moving forward, how do you anticipate that evolving or changing or possibly increasing?
It feels like it'll continue to increase. Right now, people continue to stay in their homes, but maybe not even paying rent or pushing that off. And sometimes this is going to come to a head. And so we anticipate that and want to be ready to help.
Can you tell us a story about maybe one of the people or families that has resonated with you the most that you've been able to help?
When we opened the doors, it was right in the midst of COVID, full bloom. It was July, it was in the summer. And so we had instant clientele base of people with a lot of needs. And so just to kind of break it down, there was this one family, a mom with 2 adult children, with 2 grandchildren in the home, but because of medical issues, wasn't able to work as much maybe normally would. And so they came behind in their rent and utilities. So they were kind of at the desperate point. Edison was getting ready to shut down their power, or they're concerned about that. So we're able to come in, able to help pay for the electric bill, keep their power on, and then work out some kind of arrangement with the landlord. So just real practical help to their immediate situation.
Troy, can you share with us a few highlights from your work recently?
For this last year, for Thanksgiving, a lot of these families wouldn't have access to be able to get a traditional Thanksgiving meal, or at least the items for Thanksgiving dinner. So we're able to provide for a couple hundred of these families. We did a drive-through where they received a frozen turkey and all the fixing. And so it was so great to be able, they popped the trunk, you know, and we just put it right in there. We had a little drive-through that's COVID friendly. And so we're able to help these families, you know, be able to do something for the holidays. And then for Christmas, we're able to do same kind of idea. People drove through in the afternoon and we're able to give them a ham for Christmas and then even some Christmas gifts.
Absolutely. I'm sure it's a highlight for you and for the family. It's a highlight, I'm sure, that will carry them throughout a whole lifetime. A Thanksgiving meal at a time when, you know, sometimes you feel like you're in an abyss and forgotten and don't know if you're going to have a Thanksgiving. So your efforts and your commitment to the community is going to have a long-standing effect.
Well, that's our hope and prayer, yeah.
Can you share with us the cold reality of what our local community and maybe even the broader community would look like without your efforts?
In fact, with this community, without the Upland Community Resource Center, it would break my heart to be able to not be able to be there for people in our community.
Right, and I feel like it would break a lot of hearts.
Without the Resource Center, I think people would just have to go farther to find resources, maybe even other communities that they aren't familiar with, like Ontario or San Bernardino or other cities. It's unique in far as what we do in the community, so I really feel like it would leave a hole, and I feel like this is the perfect time, especially in the midst of COVID, where I feel like the needs are going to continue to increase, not decrease.
And as we know, people are more inclined to go to services that are local and they feel comfortable with and more community oriented. So it almost feels like a lot of those resources wouldn't even be available, and some of those families or people would fall through the cracks and basically be lost.
Yeah, I really feel like that could be the case for sure, is that a lot of people don't have good transportation, or they can't leave to go to another community to get resources because they're just trying to keep food on the table with their job and they can't jeopardize that. And so, yeah, there definitely feels like there would be a whole, I feel like this is, again, an ideal time to be here.
And can you tell us today what the biggest needs are for your mission moving forward?
Yes, there's a couple ways, practical ways people could help. One is we continually need pantry goods, pantry stable food that we can give to people when families come in. We're not a food bank, we don't have tons of storage, but we don't want people to leave empty-handed, so we'll give them like a grocery bag. They'll get them food for 2 or 3 days. So if people want to drop by and give us just pantry stable food that we can put into similar to these bags. Okay. Another one is we need volunteers. We could just use people that we will train to be able to really be what we call service ambassadors, and be able to help people and match up the right resources for them.
So can you talk a little bit about some of the more recent projects that you have taken on to address those needs and challenges?
In some ways, we come alongside those that really are making a difference in our community. Like we've come alongside, say, like Crossroads, which is helping women come back in society after being in prison. Or we have a lot of different organizations that help people get back on their feet, like Family Foothill Shelter and other organizations like that.
So can you tell us and our viewers how you were introduced to A Lot of Good?
2 years ago, we had what we call a community impact day. So we did, instead of church services, we all met at the church that morning, and we did a couple worship songs all together. Then we sent out to about 25 to 30 locations all throughout the community, and A Lot of Good was one of them. And so as we sent one of our teams over there, they were there processing and going through some of the goods and putting on the storefront and all that. So we had this connection early on because of that.
Sounds like the perfect partnership. Can you share with us a broader view of how you believe A Lot of Good will be able to help support and impact your efforts moving forward?
Yeah, so there's a couple ways. The first would be when families come in, they have lots of needs, very practical needs. And with a limited amount of resources, it's going toward rent, going to utilities, and if they have leftover, it goes to food and household items. So this is where A Lot of Good Thrift Store really can help, is that we can make a connection where we can send people over there to get clothing or their household items or kitchen items, things like that they normally wouldn't be able to afford. The other way would be we have international connections. And some of these resources that might not be put to use here in the States, but in other places would really be appreciated. So we're working toward that goal as well.
Beautiful. And what do those international projects look like?
Some we have in Mexico, right across the border. We're working with families that, either giving them housing and they need household items. It could be those that just need clothing. There's an orphanage we work with in Central America that's 500 youth, all the way down to babies. And so there's tons of needs that you could imagine, just practical things, keeping everyone clothed for an organization like that. Even as far as Kenya or Thailand that we have connections with as well.
Can you share with us how critical the partnership is with A Lot of Good and how that allows you to focus on a lot of the higher efforts and, pushing your strengths and your mission forward?
We can't specialize in providing household goods or clothing and items like that. We really don't have a lot of access to that, or it's hard to even store a lot of that. And so be able to connect with them, be able to send people over to A Lot of Good is just really helpful, and it allows our people and our focus to be able to maintain on the client, be able to help them in their housing situation, particularly as our top concern, and then also with employment. And so this allows us to really dial in and zone in on that.
How can people and other organizations like A Lot of Good help to spread the word and share your message of the critical work that you're providing on a local and on a global scale?
I mean, a lot of nonprofits like ourselves, it's all about networking. It's about exposure and working with other organizations that have connections that we would never have. So really believe that A Lot of Good would have connections and do have connections that we wouldn't have access to. And so we want to be able to get the word out as far as what we can do to help people as far as clients, but also how people can contribute and give back. I really believe during this season, particularly, people are looking for ways to give back, and this would be one partnership. So with that, it's great to have other partners that we have greater exposure and they have connections that we would never even dream of. And so it's a beautiful relationship.
Absolutely. It's a beautiful synergy. Can you share with us any special events or things on the calendar that you would want our community to, stop by, participate in, mark their calendars and be a part of?
We have a Shopping for Good Day on March 31st where people can come, they can bring a flyer and get 10% off And then proceeds go to our organization, go to the Upland Community Resource Center.
So Troy, can you share with us where people that want to support your efforts can go through volunteerism, through donations, through other ways to support your efforts?
So if you just go to our website, which is Upland CRC. So it's uplandcommunityresourcecenter.org. So uplandcrc.org. Down at the bottom, there's a couple ways people can be involved. It'll say volunteer here button, and you can go on that, and that starts the process by filling out an application. But also, there'll be another button that people can give directly toward the Resource Center, and money that comes in goes directly to clients because we have our overhead really covered through the church and also partnering with Catholic Charities. So these resources go directly to people that we help.
Lovely. Well, thank you so much for spending your time with us today and sharing the story of Life Bible Fellowship Church and all of the critical work that you're investing in our community. Thank you so much, Troy.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure being here and excited to see what God will do.
Thank you for watching and learning about Upland Community Resource Center. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow Upland Community Resource Center and A Lot of Good. This is Yvette Walker reminding you that together we do a lot of good.